Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Paje phai le If I end up scratching a lot, now I've had a Nishnan today. It's a mosquito on a Malia. So it's I think they're racist here, the mosquitoes. I tend to go to Italy and all these different countries. I don't get bit that much. I think it's all over. So today the lecture is going to be on Sikhi in a changing world. Now, dunya is changing very fast. I'm in the kind of technology industry, but everyone who knows a little bit, I guess everyone knows about technology anyway. Technology is moving so quick that Sikhi has to adapt something somehow to keep up with it. I don't think it's a cocoon little thing that's going to sit somewhere and all of a sudden we're going to become these next level things like that. Dunya change ho rahi hai, bache are going off on a tangent, and I know a lot of you are young yet, but people who've got children, they're very, very worried because the rate at which the dunya is changing and the lack of control that you've got now, particularly with the way emotionally we communicate with each other now. The main communication before used to be talk to each other, and that's slowly changing now with the emerging world. And the most intimate way to have a relationship or talk to someone is just be face to face with them. That changed to telephone, then they're phoning each other, and that removed something because you couldn't see the person. Now then that changed even to letters and mailing, and then it's changed to chat things now and all these kind of things. And all of those things are actually, human relationship actually is becoming less and less intimate and sensitive. And that's the kind of thing where Sikhi, when we look at all of those things in context, Sad Sangata, and I don't want to conclude the lecture before I complete it, but Sad Sangat is becoming more and more important today as we follow Sikhi. Sorry. Manveer's laptop keeps freezing up. Overload. Hanji, here we go. So I'm going to start. This is an important part of the lecture. Now, the parts of the lecture later on about the world changing and all that, dunya. That bit, if you forget that when you walk out of the room, I'm not really that bothered. But this part, Sikhi di galla, the Sikhi part of the way we're living today, our Sikhi general. Our man is split into 4 areas. Man hega, Chit, Buddha, Tihomen. These are 4 parts of your man, and collectively Guru Sahib sometimes addresses these separately, and sometimes Guruji addresses man as a whole, as all 4 of those things. Now generally when I ask Gursikhs this about, do you understand elements of man, these bits, they don't know. Particularly, on Chit, I want to concentrate on Chit a little bit extra. Chit di galla, when we're doing Simran, and we all know just Bhakti karte hain, everyone, our Bhakti is about man laun wali Bhakti ya sadi. It's about getting your man into Vaheguru. And Vaheguru is there somewhere. It's just that we can't, there's barriers in the way. Everyone, when we talk about Asi Paad karde ya, Simran karde, we do something, our man, everyone says it runs. And it's hard to bring it back. Now there's a problem, the reason why is it's because sometimes, well, I won't say it's a total reason, one of the main reasons is sanu chit da nahi pata what chit is. Jo gur charni chit laye. When you read Bani and it says about chit, we don't know what that is. But what we're going to do is I'm going to go through each one of these areas one by one. So just man, chit and bodh and home are often collectively called man in Gurbani, and I'll show you examples of that in a minute. Now man, if we look at man, this is where thoughts happen, in the man section. So remember there's 3 bits. As each one goes, Chit goes into a deeper level of the mind. Buddhi is the deepest level. But we'll go over that in a minute. This is where thoughts are, manvij. Now it's described as gentle. Guru Sahib every day, and everyone Anand Sahib padhde hain, e man chanchala chatarai kine na paya. Guru says it chataraiyan vich hai. The man is closest to the 9 indriyan. Now the 9 indriya of your body are akhan, kan, nak, muh, and the two lower extremities, they're 9 parts of your body. Our whole life as Gursikhs, in our knowledge, ਅਸੀਂ ਮਰ ਗਏ ਹਾਂ. We died in those 9. Those 9 have taken over us. What we look outside and what we see, that's killed our mind off. By just looking outside. And all the Bani is telling you to stop looking outside and go inside. Now, it cannot sit still. On the move even when you're sleeping. Everyone knows, man hasn't stopped. Man has not stopped. Sufneya de vich is doing something. The metaphor is that there's a rider and there's 9 horses, is in a chariot and there's 9 horses. 9 indriyan are controlling this man all the time. And we've got lost control over these indriyan, these sense organs. We lost control over them, and it's a bit like the bandar baitha driving it, and he says, "Jithe indri jandi hai, uthe chale jana main naal hi." Asliyat which Guru says, you're the Raja inside of this body. You're the king, the queen, whatever. You own this body, but the body's taken over you and is taking you to where it wants to go. That leads to Janam Maran Dagir. Now, it's quite happy to let the horses guide the chariot, the man is. In other words, it says, oh, I see this, soni cheez lag di, let me go that way. I hear this thing, that sounds good, I'll follow that. We all talk about Gurbani being the important cheez, and Guruji says, मेरे मोहन श्रवणी ये ना सुनाए साकत नी गीत धुन गावत बोलिया बोले जाए. Guruji says साकत नाद गीत धुन गावत जेरे मनमुखा that person's poetry or their singing, Guruji says please why Guru मैंने कदे ना सुनिया मैंने, I never want to hear it. And what our man does is, because this was from an original lecture I did in a camp about 6 years ago, and it was important, and it got lost in recordings and they lost it, but I'm trying to just bring some of it back. That we used an example of Jida Michael Jackson, bichara, he was alive then, but he was, we were talking about when someone hears a song, what happens? Man lag janda hai, chit goes into it, then Buddhi says, oh, that's a great thing, I should be listening to that. And home by jandi pe look at that, what you're listening to, oh, aap ban jandi cheez, you become that thing. And when this whole man together, the way it works, it becomes corrupt. And I'm going to go through this. So, ite man is called Chenchal. Guru Sahib calls man Chenchal. Chenchalya. And the whole point of Gurbani is the control karna. Second thing. So we go with the Bani. Where's Guru says, "E man Chenchala, chitrai kire na paya." Kisi ne chitraiyan naal Vaheguru nahi paya. You can't. And Guru Sahib ne, the Sheikh, the Musliman nu man kathor shabd bhed tu shant vase man aaye. Guru Sahib ne mulle nu bhi kiya pe kaam krodh kine na paya, pucho gyani jaye. Kise gyani nu jaake puch lao, kaam krodh lobh moh ahankar which no one's ever attained Rab. But our man is staying in those 5 things all the time. Jini naam te aaya, ek man ek chit se asthir jag rahya. Now it is very clear, man te chit do cheezain aaya. Man and chit are not same thing. Now, if we understand what the chit is, man can stop. Kisi tarike naal to kisi had tak, you can stop it from running away. And if that's where you enjoy your kirtan much more, you enjoy your part much more, you enjoy your simran much more, and sangat will become different cheez for you. But it's only with the chit, but we're going to chit in a minute. So, jini naam te aaya, ek man ek chit. Guru Sahib says, ek man ek chit naal, we're supposed to do our nitnem, supposed to do a simran, and supposed to do a sangat, ek man ek chit naal. Now, everyone knows, when we're sitting there, man patani kithe chale janda. And there's an important thing I do want to say, I mentioned it in the group yesterday, that, when you're sitting in sangat, what the telephone, so no one should be on their phone texting each other, or doing things like that. All that shared innocent hogi cheez. But that thing shouldn't even be there. One example yesterday I gave, when Bhai Sahib Rantir Singh, he talked about, he took a shab from Bani, the Maharaj keh rahe ya, but jithe saad sangat is like a gufa. Oh, gufa ya, jithe cave, it's a cave. And all the which you're the yogi. Now, Puratan Samay with yogi baitha honda si in the cave, you find the yogi and he's doing bhakti there. Guru Sahib says, the cave is a saad sangat, you're the yogi. You're sitting in there to see bhakti, you don't leave that place until you get something from it. Us cheez to labna kuch. Now, Guru Sahib says, Sona mandal, ek jogi baise, nar na purkh kaho ko kaise, He says, in this Swan Mandal, if you do bhakti, if you get to some stage where, our mind stops a little bit, Uthi Jogi of Vaheguru is sitting there. And that's why Sad Sangat vichon cheez milti hai. You can't get it from anywhere else. You're not going to get it from a shop or from person. Guru Sahib says, Sad Sangat vich ya. Jithon har paya, Sat Sangat naam nidhan hai, Guru Sahib says, uthi naam japna. So it chitta hega, the second part of your man. Jira chitta hega, it's got two elements to it. Number one is your memories. Jithan si kehte chitta bhul gaya, we say, hai na? Chitta bhul gaya. But there's a second part to it that's very, very important. That thing is emotion. It's got an extension of the man. When man and chit come together, that's what we say, surti o dhyan. Surti o dhyan. Now, surti, that's why what we're supposed to be doing our bhakti, when we're supposed to do our simran akita, with the surti. Now, it's referred to as kathor, and Dhyana man hegaya is either in a depressed state or it's elevated. That's the basic emotion that it has. Now, if you read Bani, this bit, that's why I'm going to concentrate on this. Man re shabd taro chit lai. He says, if you chit la ke tusi shabd padunge, chit la ke. Now, when we use that phrase, we just say chit lana means man lalo. Tika, it's an element of that. But you think of it like this. Well, let me run through this. Pai re Ram kaho chit lai. Ram nu kehna, par chit la ke kehna. Now, this last pankti we'll get to in a minute. Keh Nanak, e sarir parwan hua, is every day si nit padde asi. Every day si padde hain. But Guru Sahib says, is jag mein aake kya karam kamaya? Karam kera kamaya? What have you done? Since we're here on this dunya, what exactly have we really done? Apart from किसी तरीके नाल असी कोई पाप कमाया and our mind's gone wrong, है ना? कह नानक ए शरीर प्रवान हुआ जिन सतगुर स्यों चितलाया. जे गुरु दे विच चित ला के तुसी भगती करोगे तां शरीर प्रवान होंदा है, otherwise it can't be प्रवान. Now we have to understand the चित किया. Now this pankti here is amazing pankti. जिनके चित कठोर है से बह ना सतगुर पास उत्थे सच वरतदा कूड़े आरा चित उदास. Now चित उदास हो जाता है. Now if we used this example before. If we're sitting here and something, you find out that something's happened to your family or something's happened to your possession, someone's robbed you or something like that, man, you know that feeling that you get inside, oh chitta, that's chit. But chitta dig gaya, dol gaya. But the chit is also that thing when you're watching your television, you're reading your book, you're doing those cheejaं, ਜਿਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ 3 ਘੰਟੇ ਬੰਦਾ ਬੈਠਾ ਰਹਿੰਦਾ and doesn't have any problem doing it, ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਚਿੱਤ ਲੱਗ ਗਿਆ ਆ in that thing. There's a fark between when we watch television and watch that film and when we try to do 3 hours kirtan. We can't do 3 hours kirtan, है ना? 3 hours kirtan बहुत लंबा लगदा, seems too much. But 3-hour film, जिन्ना मर्जी epic film होवे, you can sit there and बड़ी खुशी दी गल आ, get the popcorn out, whatever. सारा कुछ हो जाता है. जिथे भगती होंदी है 3 hours होंदी नहीं है. Why? Because चित्त डोल जाता है. The chit says, forget this, I don't want to do this, I want to find something else to do. If you can change your bhakti chit nu, if you can sensitive ho jao is chit kiya, je chit de naal bhakti tusi kar sakde na, this is a different cheez it is. Simran and Sikhi is a different thing. So jinna ne chit kathora. So look what Guru Sahib is saying, man chanchal ho gaya, chit kathor ho gaya. Then next we go to buddhi. Buddhi hirde vich a. Is buddhi ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ buddhi is the source of ਜਿੱਥੇ wisdom, ਮਤ ਜਿਹਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ, ਮਤ is in buddhi. Described as area ਜਿੱਥੇ enlightenment, ਇੱਥੇ ਬੁੱਧ ਹਿਰਦੇ ਜਿਨ ਕੋ ਹਿਰਦੇ ਵਿਕਾਸ ਹੈ ਪਾਉ ਦੂਜਾ ਨਹੀਂ. ਬੁੱਧੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪ੍ਰਕਾਸ਼ ਉੱਥੇ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਆ. The actual enlightenment happens there, ਹੈ ਨਾ? The deepest part of the man to get to that is your buddhi, but it's referred to ਹਿਰਦਾ, ਹਿਰਦੇ, ਅੰਤਰ. ਹੁਣ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ, we say we do, ਅਸੀਂ ਨਾਮ ਜਪਦੇ ਆ. But we're told that naam hirde naal japna, hirde naal. That's different from just saying Vaheguru, 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 na? Hirde naal japna. Because they're deeper levels there. Now, if you read Bani, what it says about buddhi, before I read those, when we listen to Guru Sahib saying, Gur Sundar Mohan Paye Kare Har Prem Bani Man Marya. ਬਾਣੀ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰੇਮ ਨਾਲ ਮਨ ਮਰ ਗਿਆ। But then what happens? ਮੇਰੇ ਹਿਰਦੈ ਸੁੱਧ ਬੁੱਧ ਵਿਸਰ ਗਈ, ਮਨ ਆਸਾ ਚਿੰਤ ਵਿਸਾਰਿਆ। So ਮਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ is hope and desire, but your ਹਿਰਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਬੁੱਧੀ ਵਿੱਚ, in your ਹਿਰਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ is ਬੁੱਧੀ, right deep at low level. Now Guru says ਸਾ ਬੁੱਧ ਦੀਜੈ ਜਿਤ ਵਿਸਰੈ ਨਾਹੀ, ਸਾ ਮਤ ਦੀਜੈ ਜਿਤ ਤੁਧ ਧਿਆਈ। Now what buddhi is, ਜੇ buddhi when it becomes corrupt, ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕਪਟੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ, ਕਪਟੀ becomes corrupt। ਕਪਟੀ ਬੁੱਧੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੋਵੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਭਗਤੀ ਨਹੀਂ, ਭਗਤੀ ਦਾ ਜੀਏ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦਾ। ਹੁਣ ਅਸਲੀਅਤ ਵੀ ਅਸ ਸਮਾਨ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਛਕਣਾ ਆ, ਜਦੋਂ ਜੀ ਟਰਾਈ ਟੂ ਪ੍ਰਚਾਰ, ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਛਕਣ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਬੁੱਧੀ ਕਪਟੀ ਆ। That means they become corrupt। Now ਸਾ ਬੁੱਧ ਦੀਜੈ ਜਿਤ ਵਿਸਰੇ ਨਾਹੀ, ਮੈਨੂੰ ਬੁੱਧੀ ਏਦਾਂ ਦੀ ਦੇ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਵਿਸਰੇ ਨਾ, why he doesn't, I don't ever forget him। ਸਾ ਮਤ ਦੀਜੈ ਜਿਤ ਤੁਧ ਧਿਆਈ, ਇਹ ਹਿਰਦੇ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਆ। ਮੇਰਾ ਹਿਰਦਾ ਚੇਂਜ ਹੋ ਜਾਵੇ, it becomes that kind of ਹਿਰਦਾ where ਜਿੱਥੇ ਮੈਂ I don't forget him at any time, ਹੈ ਨਾ। ਬੁੱਧੀ ਬਾਜੀ ਉਪਜੈ ਚਾਓ, ਸਹਿਸ ਸਿਆਣਪ ਪਵੇ ਨਾ ਤਾਓ। The desire worldly drama arises, and ਅੰਦਰੋਂ ਇਹ ਬੁੱਧੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਆ। When we say ਸਾਨੂੰ I want to watch this, I want to do this, ਮੈਂ ਆਹ ਖਾਣਾ, I want to hang around with this person, ਮੈਂ ਆਹ ਪੁੱਠਾ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਨਾ, ਇਹ ਬੁੱਧੀ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਆ। And all of Bani, Gurbani is there to change your buddhi. If we say buddhi is now following what Guru Sahib is saying, it becomes a different cheez. By sai mat, sai buddh syanap, jit nimak nam prabh visrave. Asliyat which asli mat and buddhi is that. By prabh visre na. Our intellect should be that. That's what bhakti is for. The home they drive ਸਾਰੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੋਮ ਵਿੱਚ, ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਆਸਾ ਕੀ ਵਾਰ ਸੀ ਪੜ੍ਹਦੇ, ਹੋਮ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਇਆ, ਹੋਮ ਵਿੱਚ ਗਿਆ, ਹੋਮ ਵਿੱਚ ਜੰਮਿਆ, ਹੋਮ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੂਆ, ਹੋਮ ਵਿੱਚ ਦਿੱਤਾ, ਹੋਮ ਵਿੱਚ ਲਿਆ, ਹੋਮ ਵਿੱਚ ਖੱਟਿਆ, ਹੋਮ ਵਿੱਚ ਗਿਆ, ਹੋਮ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਚਿਆਰ ਕੂੜਿਆਰ, ਹੋਮ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਾਪ ਪੁੰਨ ਵਿਚਾਰ। ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸਿੰਘ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਹੋਮ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ। In other words, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਅੱਗੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਰੱਖਦੇ ਅਸੀਂ, ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਰੱਖ ਕੇ we do those things. Now this is driving everything। ਜਿਹੜੀ the three parts of man, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸੁੱਤੇ ਪਏ ਸਾਰੇ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ, ਜਿਹੜੇ must be killed। ਜਿਹੜੇ ਤੀਜਾ ਮਨ ਚਿੱਤ ਬੁੱਧੀ, ਇਹ ਤਿੰਨ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਯੂਜ਼ ਕਰਕੇ you have to kill your home। ਜੇ home ਨਹੀਂ ਮਰੀ ਤਾਂ ਜਨਮ ਮਰਨ ਦਾ ਗੇੜ ਖਾਰੀਜ਼ on। if home doesn't die, ਜਨਮ ਮਰਨ ਦਾ ਗੇੜ। so you got to change your, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਹੈਗਾ ਚੰਚਲ ਮਨ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਪਵਿੱਤਰ ਮਨ ਕਰਨਾ, ਜਿੱਥੇ ਕਠੋਰ ਚਿੱਤ ਆ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਪਵਿੱਤਰ ਚਿੱਤ ਕਰਨਾ, ਜਿੱਥੇ ਬੁੱਧੀ ਕਪਟੀ ਆ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਸ਼ੁੱਧ ਹਿਰਦਾ। ਜਿੱਦਾਂ when we read ਆਸਾ ਕੀ ਵਾਰ ਦਾ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਪਈ ਕੋਈ ਗਾਵੇ ਰਾਗੀ ਨਾਦੀ ਬੇਦੀ ਬਹੁ ਭਾਂਤਕਾਰ, ਨਹੀਂ ਹਰ ਹਰ ਭੀਜੈ ਰਾਮ ਰਾਜੇ, ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਅੰਤਰ ਕਪਟ ਵਿਕਾਰ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਨਾ ਰੋਏ ਕਿਆ ਕੀਜੇ। ਇਹ ਹਿਰਦੇ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਆ। ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਸੇਜ਼ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉੱਪਰੋਂ ਉੱਪਰੋਂ ਦਾ ਬੜਾ ਰਾਗ ਅਸੀਂ ਰੋਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਪਰ ਅੰਦਰੋਂ ਇੱਕ ਕਪਟੀ ਆ, ਕਰਪਟ, ਹਿਰਦਾ ਕਰਪਟ। It can only be subdued with ਸ਼ਬਦ, ਇਹ ਕਿਸੇ ਹੋਰ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਨਹੀਂ, only ਸ਼ਬਦ can destroy it। So this is the last slide before I go into the lecture about changing world, but if you look at this, ਇੱਥੇ ਹੋਮੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਨੇ ਮਨ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਆ, now ਮਨ is talking about all four of the things। So ਮਨ ਰੇ ਹੋਮੇ ਛੋੜ ਗੁਮਾਨ, ਹਰ ਗੁਰ ਸਰਵਰ ਸੇਵ ਤੂੰ ਪਾਵੇ ਦਰਗਾਹ ਮਾਨ। ਤੇ ਇਹ ਮਨ ਤੂੰ ਆਪਣੇ ਹੋਮੇ ਛੱਡ ਕੇ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਦੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰ, ਉੱਥੇ ਦਰਗਾਹ ਵਿੱਚ ਫੇਰ ਪਰਵਾਨਾ। ਮਨ ਮੇਰੇ ਹੋਮੇ ਮੈਲ ਭਰ ਨਾਲ, ਹਰ ਨਿਰਮਲ ਸਦਾ ਸੋਹਣਾ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਸਵਾਰਨਹਾਰ। ਹੋਮੇ ਮੈਲ man. So here man, Guru Sahib saying home male, but he's talking about home. So he's called man, all four things address kitiyan, sorry, all four things, है ना। ते गुरमुख ए मन लया सवार होमे विचों तजे विकार। गुरमुख ने ए होमे कट के got rid of the home ते मन नु सवार लिया। Now these four चीज़ां, the reason why whenever these is when we look at the dunya corrupt किन्नी भैड़ी बन गई। You watch the slides now, की हो रहा है दुनिया, right? दुनिया इन्नी माड़ी आ, it's gone that bad, क्यों हुई है ता? It's because इंसान दी बुद्धि, इंसान दा चंचल मन ते कठोर चित्त इन्हें पुठे कामां च पै गया, and वो दुनिया is all changing because of that, and we'll go over this in a minute, but this is where we talk about the dunya। Guru Sahib की कह रहे हैं दुनिया की है, what is this thing where we are? भई जन्म मरण को ए जग बपड़ो, इन दूजे भगत विसारी जियो। इस दुनिया विच if we love the world more than we love the Guru, or more than we love Gursikhs, more than we love Sangat, Guru Sahib says kiya ਇਹ ਜਗ ਬੱਪੜੋ ਆ ਦੂਜੇ ਭਗਤ ਰੱਬ ਨੂੰ ਵਿਸਾਰ ਲਿਆ in ਦੂਜੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਨਾਲ ਭਗਤੀ ਵਿਸਾਰ ਲਈ and it put it it's gone to the wrong side है ना ਮਾਇਆ ਮਮਤਾ ਮੋਹਣੀ ਜਿਨ ਵਿਣ ਦੰਤਾ ਜਗ ਖਾਇਆ ਮਾਇਆ is that thing ਜਿਹੜੇ ਅੰਦਰੋਂ ਹਉਮੈ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਆ ਉਹ ਮਾਇਆ ਬਣ ਗਈ ਤੇ ਹੁਣ ਵੱਤੇ ਹਰ ਨਾਮ ਨਾ ਬੀਜਿਓ ਅੱਗੇ ਭੁੱਖਾ ਕਿਆ ਖਾਏ ਇੱਥੇ ਦੀ ਭਗਤੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤੀ ਅੱਗੇ ਭੁੱਖਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਕੀ ਖਾਣਾ ਉੱਥੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ what we're going to get when we go to the next world have we really sown the seed here ਭਗਤੀ ਦੀ has it been sown ਉੱਥੇ ਭੁੱਖਿਆਂ ਨੇ what will we eat ਹੈ ਨਾ ਭਗਤਾਂ ਤੇ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਜੋੜ ਕਦੇ ਨਾ ਆਇਆ now this ਪੰਕਤੀ is very important Guru Sahib in Bani says ਜਿਹੜਾ ਭਗਤਾ ਤੇ ਸੰਸਾਰੀ ਲੋਕ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਜੋੜ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਦੇ ਆਉਂਦਾ in other words they never meet they can't meet anywhere there's no meal ਅਸਲੀਅਤ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਾਡਾ ਮੇਲ ਮਿਲਾਪ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਭਗਤੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਨੂੰ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਸਮਝਦੇ ਹਾਂ more than ਭਗਤੀ but this is what I talked about before so there's a virtual world here ਇਹਨਾਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਕਰਕੇ ਸਾਰਾ ਚੇਂਜ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ virtual world now ਹੁਣ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਅਸਲੀਅਤ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਬੋਲਦੇ ਹਾਂ we don't have to be sitting next to each other now ਉਹ virtual communication ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਸਾਰਾ technology has had a huge impact ਹੁਣ ਸਾਡਾ question ਇਹ ਆ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਿੱਖੀ spirituality and seva how does this change now ਦੁਨੀਆ change ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਆ is Sikhi supposed to stay the same that's what we're trying to address in the lecture today how are people changing and why would people want Sikhi ਇਸ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੰਨੇ corruption ਹੋ ਗਏ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਦੀ ਕੀ ਲੋੜ ਆ why would they want Sikhi but ਇਹਦਾ answer ਵੀ ਆ Guru Sahib give us an answer ਹੁਣ ਆ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਆ social media so ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਰਾਮ ਕਹੋ ਚਿਤ ਲਾਏ ਚਿਤ ਲਾ ਕੇ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਕਰੋ ਇੰਟਰਨੈਟ ਐਂਡ ਸੋਸ਼ਲ ਮੀਡੀਆ ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਜਿਹਨਾਂ ਕੋਲ ਬੱਚੇ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਟੈਲੀਫੋਨ ਦੇਤੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਹੈਗੇ 11 ਸਾਲ ਦੇ 8 ਸਾਲ ਦੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮਾਪਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਟੈਲੀਫੋਨ ਤੇ ਕੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਆ ਇਸ ਐਬਸੋਲੂਟਲੀ ਡਿਸਗ੍ਰੇਸਫੁਲ ਚੀਜ਼ mobile usage 60% up in 2 years 60% the 55 to 64 year olds or biggest growth you would think jo bachyan as is growing it's actually the older generation has gone they're using them more now if you look at this Facebook 1.1 billion
why is the older generation using it more
hanji
why is the older generation using it more
the socializing and I'll come to that relationships there's relationships there's various reasons why there's online shopping there's relationships and ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜੇ divorce rate ਦੇਖੋਗੇ ਆ ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਦਿਨ में है ना ਪਰ ਜਿਹੜਾ Facebook ਹੈਗਾ 1.1 billion active users ਸੋਚੋ 1.1 billion Facebook ਤੇ that's most of the dunya well not most of the dunya it's a good large fraction of the world is on Facebook no Facebook ਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਬੜੀ ਬੱਲੇ ਕਰਦੇ Facebook ਦੀ but realistically ਜੇ ਭਗਤੀ if we saying in ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਭਈ ਜਗ ਮੈਂ ਉਤਮ ਕਾਢੀਏ ਵਿਰਲੇ ਕਈ ਕੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਵਿਰਲੇ ਨੇ ਭਗਤੀ ਕਰਨੀ ਆ ਉਹ 1.1 ਬਿਲੀਅਨ ਨਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੀ ਕਰਨਾ Twitter 228 million YouTube 1 billion visitors ਸਾਰਾ ਬਕਵਾਸ ਆ ਉੱਥੇ ਯੂਸਫੁਲ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਵੀ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ on those things but ਉਹ ਵਿਰਲੀਆਂ ਆ ਹੁਣ ਨਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਸ਼ਰਮ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਆ that sometimes when I go on to find out about backache neckache ਉੱਥੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ comment ਆ on those videos ਉਹ ਕਿਸੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਲਈ they're not even readable for the ਬੱਚੇ because ਜਿਹੜੇ people are actually commenting on a decent video on it they're actually writing gandmand on it it's disgusting है ना ਤੇ Google Plus LinkedIn ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਰਾ ਪਤਾ what these things are those things ਦੀ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਨੂੰ ਚੇਂਜ ਕਰਤਾ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ now you look at what the problems are on cyber crime and cyber bullying only 2 weeks ago England which is a ਬੱਚੀ ਵਿਚਾਰੀ 15 years old ਉਹਨੂੰ ਸਤਾ ਕੇ ਨੂੰ ਮਰਵਾਤਾ she killed herself है ना because why because she got bullied online now instant audiences of billions you can put a really stupid thing on the internet now right you get instant audience straight away ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੀ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਨਾਤਨ ਮਤ they do students start ripping some parts of the pont let's put it that way everyone's on there it's like 9,000 50,000 reads and all that kind of stuff ਜਿਹੜੀ ਨਿੰਦਿਆ ਨਹੀਂ ਮਾੜੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਆ it's gone on the internet like that ਜਿਹੜੇ our worst inside ਜਿਹੜੇ ਜਾਨਵਰ ਸਾਡਾ attitude ਆ ਉਹ our animal instinct ਉਹ internet ਤੇ ਇੰਨੇ faster that's going around is really bad so making friends Now ਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨੀ ਹੈ ਇੱਥੇ ਅਸਲੀਅਤ ਵਿੱਚ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ ਨੂੰ ਮਨਮੁਖ ਦੇ ਫਰੈਂਡ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਨੇ ਚਾਹੀਦੇ. Your friend should not be manmukhs. Now if your mom and dad ain't telling you that, I'll be your mom and dad today. Your friends should not be manmukhs. ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ ਦੇ ਮਨਮੁਖ ਫਰੈਂਡ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਣੇ ਚਾਹੀਦੇ, because what happens is ਉਹਨੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਭਗਤੀ 'ਚ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਲਾਉਣਾ ਹੈ? ਮਨ ਤਾਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ. Everyone accepts this now. ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਬਹਿੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਭਗਤੀ ਕਰਨ ਨੂੰ ਮਨ ਤਾਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ anyway. ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਪਾਪੀਆਂ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੋਸਤੀ ਕਰ ਲਈ, ਮਨਮੁਖ ਸੇਤੀ ਦੋਸਤੀ ਥੋੜ੍ਹਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਦਿਨ ਚਾਰ, ਇਸ ਪ੍ਰੀਤੀ ਟੁੱਟਦੀ ਵਿਲਮ ਨਾ ਹੋਵੇ, ਇਸ ਦੋਸਤੀ ਚੱਲਣ ਵਿਕਾਰ. ਜੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਇਸ ਦੋਸਤੀ ਨਾਲ ਵਿਕਾਰੇ ਚੱਲਣੇ ਆ, why are they our friends? Why? ਸੋ ਸੋਚਣ ਵਾਲੀ ਗੱਲ ਆ. And child protection is actually in England, America ਦਾ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ, Canada ਦਾ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ, England ਵਿੱਚ they couldn't even switch off the gandmand by default. By default, a parental filter, they wouldn't put it on for years. ਹੁਣ ਮਸੀਂ ਉਹਨੇ ਚੇਂਜ ਕੀਤਾ. You tell me, ਕਿਹੜਾ ਕਲਯੁਗ ਦਾ ਕਲਯੁਗ ਸੋਚ ਨਹੀਂ ਇਸਦਾ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ parental filter ਨਹੀਂ default ਤੇ ਲਾ ਸਕਦੇ. It's just obvious that we should be doing that. It's a good basic moral. And I'm not going to, I know ਬੱਚੇ here will say the word, but 57 ਕਾਮ ਦਾ ਇੰਡਸਟਰੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਆ ਆਉਂਦਾ 57 ਬਿਲੀਅਨ ਪਾਉਂਡ ਦਾ ਡਾਲਰ ਦਾ ਆ. Biggest growing industry on the internet. ਕਾਮ ਦਾ. Now that thing ਅਸੀਂ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਹੱਥਾਂ 'ਚ ਫੜਾਤੇ ਟੈਲੀਫੋਨ. They've got open access to all these things. ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉਹ exciting ਆ. ਸਾਨੂੰ ਬਾਣੀ exciting ਨਹੀਂ ਲੱਗਦੀ. And I'm telling you, Bani, when you get into it, is much more beautiful cheese than anything. Much more. Oh cheeja is nonsense da sara. So now internet, social media, ये पहली चीज़ है. इस चीज़ ने दुनिया ਨੂੰ ਮਾਰ ਲਿਆ. We're dead. We're finished because of this thing. इधर भाग दूजे जिधर महाराज कहते हैं पे जन्म मरण को ये जग बपड़ो इन्हें दूजे भाग दे सारी जी वो साड़ी गल आ हूँ. दूजियां च पैके इस भाग दी छड़ देती. So internet, the media, then he have you stop this. ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਿੱਖੀ, you are the next generation. ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ we need strong presence in this of bhakti. Bhakti is strong presence ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਉੱਥੇ so that the ਬੱਚਾ doesn't have to go to silly ਪੁੱਠੇ places. ਆਪਣੇ sites ਚਾਹੀਦੇ strong, very very advanced. This is the verse. ਇਹ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ effect ਹੋਣਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ 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 ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ. ਇਹ relationships. This is going to affect everybody. Now, online dating, marriage, that's skyrocketing. But you can't find a person in your city. You can go anywhere now. Now, I was very surprised at this yesterday when we talked about living apart together. That means two people nowadays, 3.5 million in US, 2 million in UK. They live apart, but they're married. Bhai Harmeet Singh. I thought it was all a joke, really. Even his is like that as well. But he had to live apart, but they're married. But when marriage is changing, marriage what you regard as marriage is different. When anand karaj, we talk about a proper marriage. 1960, which if you look at this graph over here, UK the graph. 1960, the people living together beyond the official marriage. It's less than a half a million or something. By 2010, it's up to 8 million. Jithe marriage, when asi Anand Karaj, Guru Sahib told us Anand Karaj is absolutely essential cheez. It's essential. You can't have a relationship without Anand Karaj. That should be very clear, है ना? That cheez, Kaljug de vich, oh cheez is regarded as Anand Karaj. Forget Anand Karaj, even a marriage in any form is regarded as not necessary. It's growing, that's not necessary. The most disgusting thing happened on news the other day that they talk about now, relationships you're karde, there's four people living together, 2 men, 2 women, jo marji kari jande hai. And that kind of thing is what's being spread as soon it'll be okay. And it's even got some phrase, but that's the kind of thing that's happening in the world. When we talk about, sorry, 1 minute. Aaj divorce rate apne Sikhan ch very high It's very very bad. We've got this cuckoo land thing about what marriage might be, I suppose. But when that thing doesn't come together, then Shad Shadaiya, all these kind of things happen. And this is Gore we're talking about here. Gore and the divorce, their divorces are for different reasons. You look at religious differences as a small thing, but alcohol and drugs, unable to talk. The biggest thing that's dividing them is they're growing apart. In other words, they say, I don't love you anymore. There's no point in us being married. And that's happening in Sikh as well. Sikh, they're separating because they said, I don't love you anymore. And why is that? And it's because all of those things that when you add up this whole picture, dunya kithe ja rahi hai, where's it going? The dunya has gone so strange places that a person and their own partner doesn't have a healthy relationship anymore. We don't have a healthy relationship with our partner, isn't it? So if this is what's happening in the Western world, that growing apart. I think about 10 years ago, the main reason why people had a divorce was because of infidelity, and either someone had an affair with someone else, or they were unfaithful. Now it's not. The highest reason is because they just don't connect with each other anymore. So that's the sad thing about the dunya. And family life. Now, when we all live in families, but as you get married and you grow up and you have a family, these are the kind of things that are changing now. Now, Siane, elderly, are living longer for various reasons. Now, sometimes that causes a strain on people's marriages and things like that, because you're looking after your parents at the same time. Even though, I see, Bhai Gurdas ji keh rahe hain, without serving your maapyo, right? Jinni bhagti marji kar la, oh parwan nahi hai Guru Sahib nu. It's not parwan. माँ पे नु गाला कटनिया, माँ पे नु disrespect करना, mother father सामने पे पता नहीं किया. Now, when Bhai Gurdas described Sikhi, he said a child, a son, a daughter can never ever give back to their mother and father what they did for them. Never ever. Because jo marji kar len, they can't do it. But Bhai Gurdas was saying, if you imagine that can't happen, they said a Gursikh can never give back to the Guru what the Guru gave to him or her. A Gursikh can never give that back. You can never give back to your Guru what he's done. But Maape are living longer now. They might be living into their 90s. How are people treating them? Gursikhi de vich Maape rolde phirde nahi hone chahiye kisi de. We have a dastaran, asi panch kakari rehat rakhi ho, chole paye hua, but Maape nu gala kaddo, chaggo, they don't need them anymore. That's disgraceful behavior, hai? Careers and pregnancy. Well, now, Bibiyan, they're having more professional careers, so they're having children at later life. And this might happen to you. That in your marriage, you might have a child later, whereas before, they might have had them when they're 20, 21, 25, whatever. It's going out into high 30s. So that's changing our lifestyle. And marriage age, remarriage is happening so much that the marriage age is different, so that you have children later then anyway, because there's second or third marriages and things. So those things are affecting us. But this is the most disturbing thing. We go to work, we all go to work, or you might go to college. I mean, let's be honest, when you come home, who thinks about their work? You think about their work, right? Now, this is our survey that 81% think of their work at home. 73% work after hours. This is 151 workers that did it in UK. 50 dream about work. Kade Guru Sahib de sufna nahi aaya kade Guru Sahib na. We dream about our work, na? And 47 don't have time for personal interests. So virtually half of the people said, the thing I like to do, I can't do it because I ain't got time. And then 43 would rather be at work than at home, and 36 fight with a partner because of overwork. More than a third of the people have a fight at home because of their work. That's 1 in 3. That means for quite a lot of people here would be having a fight because of their work. So look how much pressure that's putting on Sikhi. That we engrossed in our calm so much. Is that 10-bedroom house really that important? Mercedes really dururi hai really? Is it really that important? If our bhakti is dwindled for that gaddi, for that house or whatever it is, what we did achieve. The parenting, more advice is sought on parenting now, because parents ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ ਬੱਚੇ ਨੂੰ raise ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਕਰੀਏ ਹੁਣ. ਆਪਣਾ generation ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਉਹ the ones slightly older than me, they don't know what internet is. They don't know how to raise them. Disciplining and trends have changed. This is the worst cheat. ਬੱਚੇ ਨੂੰ television ਦੇ ਮੂਹਰੇ ਬਿਠਾ ਦੇਣਾ and then go off into another room and go and do something. We all know that happens, right? And it's proven, attention deficit disorder is proven because they say, recommend don't sit a child in front of a TV for more than an hour. And if you sit children in front of TVs for a long time, what happens is they get an attention deficit. So when they go into school and stuff, they can't listen for that long. And then I was thinking about that, saying, maybe there's an attention deficit disorder that we got in Sikhi. That we watch mobile screens, we watch TVs and sit in front of computers and all these things. When it's time to listen to a shabd, you can't do it. And attention deficit disorder, it must be kisi level da. And so, sitting children in front of TV or internet, that's regarded as parenting. Oh, it's quiet. At least he's quiet or she's quiet. But that's not a good thing. Dads spending more time with their kids due to women's careers and overall divorce rates. Well, now, when we're talking about seva, question puchi si, but how does our seva change? When you make resources, have you ever thought that you should be making a resource for a dad? We always think we should be making a resource for a mum, for a child. We never thought. Have you ever thought we should be making resources for fathers? Digital parenting is a new challenge. Children living at home longer and pet ownership. People have a lot more pets now. There's more stress. Children are living at home longer. They're saying that in Italy now, men age of 50 are still living with their parents because they don't want to move out. It's cheaper. And so so if you imagine you're going to have children and then about 40 years time you'll be looking out and say, tu hale gaya nahi? I think so and that's the kind of thing that's having an effect on parenting. Hopefully none of us are just, I'm with my mum actually, because she lives in my house. And retirement age, I don't know what the retirement age is in Canada, US. In UK 65, see now there's all questions, it's all up in the air. It's going higher and higher. So only kaam kara ke maar dene sare. You're going to have to be working overtime, mar gaye, na gode chal de na everything's, whole body's like dying, getting more diseased, but you're starting to work longer. And distance to work as well. People, do they know fly to work? Anji, see there's someone here who flies? And now people are flying to work. In Europe, people are flying 2 days, and then they're doing 3 days at home, working from home. So even distant from, so work life's different. But careers for women, particularly journalism, law, marketing, communication, armed forces, construction, physical work, women are going into different types of jobs now. And that's causing a different type of, a different dynamic in a family. So whereas before, it was like traditionally mother would stay at home and it's not like that anymore. It's not that it should be like that. I'm just saying that's generally it's a difference. There's a difference, and when you're asking for advice now, and the reason why I'm mentioning a lot of these things, when we do bhakti, when people are doing bhakti, the problem when we sing other people when people come to you with their problems now in Sikhi, problem both different jaya. They're not like their basic problem, Japji Sahib are finding it really difficult to pronounce a slok. It's not like that. It's some next level thing that's going on in their families and some cheese that's going on that it's not basic advice where you just say, okay, yeah, I've heard your problem, listen to it, here you go, this is it. It's not like that anymore. It's really complex stuff. And some of the things at stage they get as well, because they're our man have just gone really weird. They've gone really weird. Now we're all sick, and religion in the world now is people are becoming less and less tolerant of it. Now we're closer to France than you are. France de bache for at least 7 years now, they can't go to school with the dastara. And they ain't changing quickly. So that effectively, they can keep a dastara, they have to go to set up a private school to go to. Now, if you look at what people are, religion, if you look at religion, is it important? If we ask people in the world now, is religion important? The US seems to be very high. 58%. In this Pew study, you can find out what that is. I remember 58%. But you look at Britain, France, they don't care. They don't give a damn. And Germany, Spain. And when we go there with a religion, you go there with the star, they look at you and say, what, get rid of that symbol that you're wearing. Those symbols, we don't like your symbols, And people, everything religion, world religious book, I was taken aback by that number. They claim that there's 4,200 religions in the world. I just thought it was about 20, 4,200, and there's 10,000 fragments of religions exist. So the fragmentation, when you look at, you might say, a denomination of Christianity, or denominations of Sikhs, or denomination of Hindus, there's 10,000 religions out there. And you've got growing 2 or 3 by each day, allegedly. Now, inside of all that mess, when we say we want to do prachar, is our prachar to do Khalsa camp? Is our prachar to just do a kids camp? Jiri dunya, they can't tell the difference between what Sikhi is and anything else, and you've got 10,000 different religions going out there on internets and all these things. How are they going to find the important part of Sikhi and all of that? It's a big forest of religious stuff, and we are just going to get aligned to that same thing, say, yeah, dogmatic, fundamentalists, don't really know, not in tune with the world, it's an old message, it's not relevant anymore, it's all those kind of things. Sikhi as a pracharak, and that's you, the youth here, it has to be on a different scale now, it has to be on a different level. Waheguru, 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 Wakey, wakey. The belief in God, do people believe that you have to believe in God to be moral? To be a moral person, Sikhi really teaches us our morals. Now, if you look across those countries, Britain, US and all this kind of stuff, again, Britain doesn't think so. 20% think, yeah, you need to have a religion. France, again, and Germany and Spain is pretty bad. So, generally the perception of religion, and it's not because of Sikhi, it's because of other religions, it's just like, it doesn't matter anymore. And you look at health and well-being now. All these things are going up. Skin cancer, insomnia, hearing loss, stress. These hearing loss is a bit odd one. Stress, depression, obesity. 80 are affecting Sikhs. How many of it? I bet everyone knows someone, maybe I'm assuming, I guess, in England, virtually sugar, sugar, they're diabetic, or a lot of Gursikhs are going through stress and they're taking tablets. They're taking tablets, Now, jiri cheez, if we say Bani, Bhakti, all these things were to remove all of that problem. But they arogat ho jandi hai, man bhi arog ho janda hai, all the pap go and you become blissful and all that, but then we're taking depression tablets. There's some part of the jigsaw is not quite right there, And insomnia, so that means, obviously, when you can't sleep at night, and that might sound like a great thing to someone saying, oh wow, you only sleep about 1.5 hours. They go loopy. They lose the plot. It's because the bodies can't handle it. And stress, obesity as well. Obesity, every Gyani we see, he's got a nice stit. So we have a laugh about that. What we say is, as a Gyani, if you ever want to be a Gyani, you have to have a tid, because when you do ardas, your arms start getting tired, so you have to rest them on something. Waheguru. So Guruji's made a use for everything, you know? But even on the internet, if you go on the internet now, people are getting diseased and all these kind of things. But people are going on the internet to go and get self-diagnosed. So this internet monster that's coming about, people are just saying, oh, I've got this pain, I'll go there. And then you can actually get medication off the internet. It's very dangerous. And these people are just happy to sell you it because they make money out of it. But people are getting... So don't go too crazy with self-diagnosis, that kind of stuff. But the worst thing is in terms of, drink driving was a very bad thing now. You don't drink, we don't drink, nobody, I hope not, don't drink, but when you're going out on the road, you got to be watchful of your life because of someone else who doesn't care about that, and they're drinking and driving. Now the worst thing is, now it's drug driving. Dunya which drug driving is actually escalated. Now this is a really scary figures over here. This is a drug use survey that happened in UK and US. They asked, it was about 3,000 people, people in the age of like 18 to 33. How many of them have taken drugs over the last 12 months? Now 98 point something people are drinking alcohol. Over 80% have taken cannabis. It was 90, it was in the US. 90% of the people who they surveyed had taken cannabis. Now, when they're taking that cannabis, it depends, like I said, if they're getting behind a wheel after that, then everyone's lives are in danger, and we haven't touched the thing ourselves. And so it's a horrible dunya out there. And when you watch and ask the people why they're taking it, they can't. That's their release from this world. Dunya ene dukhdai ho gaya, कहते drug खा के चेता भूल जाता है दुख दा. Because they lost structure in their life. They lost bhakti, lost morals. And ਸਾਡੇ ਵਿੱਚ, if our Sikhi, when we come back to the main goal, man, chit, buddh, ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਕਪਟੀ ਹੋ ਜਾਣ, ਖਰਾਬ ਹੋ ਜਾਣ ਨਾ, then ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਸਰਾ ਕਿਸੇ wrong ਚੀਜ਼ ਦਾ ਲੈਣਾ ਹੈ. You can't. Gurbani, that's the study of Gurbani, that's why it's so essential. Everyone, Santhya, I was speaking to Bhai Nagina Singh, I was like, Santhya, everyone go do some Santhya. Read what the message is, because the Sikhi message, when I come to it at the end, the Sikhi message, that ain't going to change. Aaj change hui jana. Sikhi message is not going to change, But these are the other things. Vegetarians have gone up, diets have gone up, and these sports and stuff make everyone happy. When I went to America in 95 or 96 or something like that, we went to, my sister lives there, and we went to the store. There wasn't one thing marked as vegetarian there that you couldn't pick up. The apples were about this big. This is like genetically modified, like clearly messed up stuff, and now vegetarianism actually quite, at least it's good, like they say about 3%, 4% America vegetarian. So at least you can see something's got some dodgy ingredient in it that you can't use, But this travel, now perceptions of being happy, we went over a lecture once about what do people think when I say, are you happy? What makes you happy? You might not have a good answer for that. You might even have an answer, But what percentage of travel aspects make you most happy? So 71% agreed that traveling is more vital to their happiness than retirement, having a baby, buying a car, getting married, being promoted, and purchasing a home. You see, this travel thing. I don't understand it in that anyway. But who are you happiest travelling with? This is even worse. Now, when we say we're married or we're partners, whatever, 25% said they'd rather travel on their own. So, I've not come to the camp on my own on purpose, by the way. So, partners, 32% said they'd rather go with their friends than their partners. So people would rather travel with their friend. So you imagine you're being married and your partner says to you, you know what? You stay at home and go with my mates. How would we take that very well? But that's that's what's actually happening. You rather go with your friend than your partner. So sada, when we go back to that cheez, ek jot doe murti tan pir kahiye soy. What does that mean? What does that mean in the context of today now? What the miracle doesn't mean anything now. It's just like, yeah, professional job, you're a professional, I'm a professional, I ain't got time for you. Slap the kids in front of the television. Let's, yeah, I ain't got time for that. Oh, I'm feeling a bit depressed. Let me just go and get some online medication. You know, is that typical life? Is that what's happening? And what inspires people to travel? They watch a film. 16% watch a film and they say, oh, I'd like to go to there. And 8% read books, whatever. So I don't want to make this into a statistical mess, but what I'm trying to get to to state, I guess, is all of these things, these factors, building up these lives. What is it? What do we want from here? What do you want? When we go back to Chit, Guru Sahib ne, I love Shabd, Moti ta mandar usre. रत्नीता हुए जड़ाओ कस्तूर कुंगू अगर चंदन लीप आवे चाओ Guru Sahib says पे उथे मोती दा मंदिर बन जावे. Forget about that 5-bedroom house that we're trying to find, है ना? मोती दा बन जावे. And inside there's agar chandan, that उथे smell and fragrance सारा कुछ बढ़िया होवे. And what did Guru Sahib say? He goes, ए देख के मत देख भूला विसरे तेरा चित ना आवे ना. वो चित की गल फिर आ गई. मारे से चेतना आवे ना. I don't remember your name. वो चीज देख के मैं भूल जावां. फिर हर बेने जियो जल बल जाओ. हरि तो बगैर इंसान आत्मा जल जाती है. It's burning. And दुनिया जल रही है हुन. And Guru Sahib did all that. भाई धरती ता हीरे लाल जड़ती पलंग लाल जड़ाओ मोहनी मुखमणि सो है करे रंग पसाओ मत देख भूला विसरे तेरा चेतना आवे ना. हुन everyone running after women, है ना? दुनिया running after women. बुढ़ियां running after बंदे. यही हो रहा. Guru Sahib said, मोहनी मुखमणि इतनी सोहनी होवे that she's sitting on a swing, ruby दा बनया होवे सारा कुछ देख के मथा मारना उसे. What's Guru Sahib saying? सिद्ध होमा सिद्ध लाई रिद आखा आऊं गुप्त प्रगट होई वैसा लोक राखे पाओ मत देख भूला विसरे तेरा चेतना बना. So this third thing person was, first thing he wanted this great house. Guru said diamond दा बना लो. He goes फिर भी तेरा चेतना आवे ओ की करना मैं. He says स्त्री होवे. He said super model बना लो उथे. He goes उदे चेतनी आना नाम ओ करने किया. Then Guru Sahib said रिद्धियां सिद्धियां आ जाना. In other words, that power आम बंदा's not got रिद्धियां सिद्धियां. The riddhiyan siddhiyan, you get them. Guru Sahib said, Gopat Pargat, I disappear from here, I do magic trick and appear over there. And everyone says, I'm really scared of this guy, he's going to curse me. And then you get your way in the dunya like that. He says, O ki karna? Je naam da cheta nahi hai. Then Sultan hua, jare sare mangde Raj, everyone asking for Raj. Sultan hua, Mel Laskar, Takht rakha pao. Hukam hasil kari baitha nanka sab vao. Because सारे मैंने मत्था टेकन and say जो तू हुक्म करदा I'll do it, है ना? But Guru Sahib फे माते दे भूला विसरे तेरा चेतना आवे ना. कि what दुनिया तो what do you want from here? Guru Ji said सारी चीज़ें multiply them, amplify them, make them bigger, make them more attractive. Because फे भी जे चेतनी आंदा नाम वो करना किया. And this was changing moms, है ना? When mothers having children, this is the time they spend online. This is Microsoft obviously trying to make lots of money, whatever they're doing, but they just did a survey. Tell you what, if you're going to take another girl from this lecture, when you're having a bacha, if a mother's having a bacha, don't sit in front of a television watch TV all day. A proven factor. Bacha, you listen, if you having a child and it's inside the womb and you play a particular music over and over again, when the child's born, when it becomes unrestful, you play that same thing, it calms down.
Right.
Now, the mothers are sitting 3, that's nearly 4 hours a day, internet there. for probably shopping or buying these things, right? I don't know. But 4 घंटे तो ना 10 बार बोल जाना चाहिए 4 घंटे every day internet देखी होता है आज कल. And so new mothers 95 minutes, you know, this is how regularly using social networking and going online and all that. If we look at what's happening there, Tiga is overtaken our life. We've got to accept this. It's overtaken. But just traditional chija about Bhakti. If we do Simran, if Nyana listens to Sukhmani Sahib even inside the womb, I guarantee that when the Nyana comes out, that Bani will go can't quickly. Quickly ho jani hai. If you listen to Nityanim inside, they'll pick up their part really quick. So even that part of our lives, moms, there is a responsibility there. But here, now this is where we get to next generation. So what are the pressures for you, your nyane as well? What are the pressures? Number one, tolerance of religion on the decline. So they're going to look, people will be looking at you, us, me, everybody saying, fundamentalist bin Laden, kitho aa gaya, terrorist ya bande. Just that's the nonsense that we get. We've gone to the airport, and they even are checked in Karpana in a bag, going into the hold. They chucked it off the plane, said you ain't going. They've taken our Karpana out of the hold and said you're not going. And
France?
It wasn't France. We were going to Italy, you know. Italy, see. And we were going. It was UK that did it. It's nothing to do with where we were going. It was UK that did it. And it's crazy, you know, intolerance way for that. Society is becoming more immoral. Is that true? I'll leave that as a question mark. You can decide that, you know? Looking and being different. Now, looking and being different, you know, fashion trends, they've always been there, but now the communication is very quick. Now in UK, footballer David Beckham, वो अपने hairstyle change कर लेता है. He just goes on the football pitch, and everyone just has their hairstyle like that. And then, so these trends just go quick now, whereas before it might have taken time for it to materialize. You know? Ease of access to information, good or bad. So now a bacha, the worst thing is children can get hold of really, really crazy information really quick now. You know, before that was never accessible for a child. You know, on the internet, you know, we won't discuss anything in detail, but the stuff that's available there, a lot of it's wrong, maybe. A lot of it's in. When a nyana's feeling depressed and all that, they can easily find a technique to just end themselves. That's just quickly available to them. And it's really, you know, there's too much information there sometimes, and the access to it. But does this change with time? So when we look at our children, when we look at you in 20 years' time, are you going to be doing bhakti in some different way? Is there going to be some other, I mean, apart from the mobile phone and you pull a shabd out here and there, is there going to be something different? And the future of Sikh, now the characteristics here, now, look at these characteristics. I mean, this is just my personal opinion, what Nyane need. They need to be more resilient now. They need to be spiritually advanced. Spiritually advanced, what I mean by that is, the thing that's taking us a long time to achieve, and there's a whole load of people who do bhakti now. Siane Singh Hageya, other people, they find out certain things about bhakti, and you pass that information down. It's a bit like educationally, those jnana can actually come into this a lot more quickly. They high moral character they need now. Technical savvy, they need to be like, you know, there's so much things going on, they fall behind. Tolerant, confident, professional, prominent, influencing local, national, world decisions. How are we going to do these? Are the kind of things that the areas we've got to be getting jnana into. Decision making at local level, at national level, huh? But the future of seva, usage and influence of Sikhi on social networks. Now, social networks here to stay. We ain't going to change that now. How is Sikhi going to be influencing that? Shifting from books to e-books and apps. Now, when we say seva karniya, I think we had a conversation yesterday about it, and someone said, "Oh, we'll translate that as a book." But no one really reads books nowadays, you know. And even the information, from what I understand, information now, people don't want to read something for 3 weeks. you want a little video for 10 minutes, right? And say, you know, what's all this about? Quickly tell me. I ain't got time to watch this. And so, how are we going to put these messages of Sikhi quickly? It has to be compact. How do we do that? How are parents going to be supported? So parents are going to need a different type of support now to raise children. And attitudes of Sikhs to the worldwide shifts, social world, gay, drug use, religious hatred. Jehड़ा gay word है मैं बहुत नहीं करना नया बच्चे बैठे हैं but साढ़े in our community in Sikhi in Amritaris बहुत problem है. It's very bad. There's issues, है ना? And they're not addressed because we treat it as a taboo subject. Now, in last slide, I think so these are the latest advances. Look what things dunya ki kar rahi hai. Now, this is just from about 3 months of 2013. What the world's doing. But 3D printers now. Now they're using stem cells to make organs and food even. Now, in UK, they've made a hamburger in the lab.
Using cow blood.
Yeah, so those are the kind of things that slowly people are going to start saying, well, no one killed the animal, right? What problem kiya, shaklo? They're the kind of challenges that people are just these immoral, the game shifting. Gene therapy now they're changing people's genetics to overcome disease. Now I'm sure it's a great thing if it can solve someone's real major problem. But that kind of thing is where's that going to go? When we talk about Manchit Buddha, people are going to have a buddhi one day, with the genetically modified brain. Multi-core fiber optic, 1 petabits per second. Now, fiber optic, that's a breakthrough, petabits per second. So now your internet is going to be faster. So all the bakwas that's coming through on the internet is just going to triple. It's going to be 25 times the amount. Neural implants. Now, rats get a sixth sense. Now, remember, this is just from 3 months of 2008. There's loads of stuff about this you could read. Rats get a sixth sense. So now they put a rat and said infrared. They made it sensitive to infrared. They didn't know anything about infrared before. Or sixth sense, now it can recognize infrared. Now, what sort of brain implants are we going to start getting later? Huh? Wireless battery charging. Oh my God. Mobile pehle maar deta si. At least you slow down a bit when you have to charge it. Now it's just going to be wirelessly charging. Synthetic DNA. So DNA only lab vich bana liya hun. So now we had memory sticks. On a synthetic DNA, you can put whatever terabytes of data on a synthetic DNA strip. So you're going to have more data in your hand. Cloning. Now, cloning started in UK with Dolly the sheep. I don't know if you guys know about Dolly the sheep. You're sad if you don't know about Dolly the sheep. What they did, they cloned the sheep, and what happened was it died early. It didn't live to a normal age. So there's something didn't quite go right. Now China or Japan, they've fixed that now and they live to average age now. So they're going to start cloning, So in space, look how many things they're discovering in space. So is there going to be time where we have to build a Gurdwara in space station? Goodness no. Weapons. Even weaponry. Now they've got laser from 1 mile, they can shoot drones down with a laser. Star Trek stuff. And computerized gun sight. Now this is really, really crazy. Now your gun sight, you have to be really, anyone done shooting, we did it at army range once, you have to hold your breath, keep it there, and you can't breathe, and you shoot and you might hit the target. Now they're doing a computerized one where you just put it kind of close and the computer works it out, sorts it out and shoots it. Now that in the wrong hands is going to be pretty crazy, right? And nuclear testing now, that's all going. So bang, at the bottom. Dunia mein bang ho gaya na, and all these things are changing. But one of the things was they got 2 rats to communicate with each other. They put something in one's brain and another thing in another, and they can communicate, send signals. So what we're going to do is they're not going to be mobiles anymore. We're going to have a head number rather than a phone number. So they're changing, shifting, things are shifting, and it's moving very fast. But this is final slide. When we come back to the future then, when we say man, chit, buddhi, sada man, sada chit, and buddhi, is it working for Sikhi, or is it working against, or is it working more for the world? How are we really aligned to Guru? That's the first question. But what parts of Sikhi do not change? Does anyone, what parts of Sikhi won't change, do you think, in the future? Hanji? Guru Granth Sahib. Anything else?
No.
No. Anything else?
Well, the style will be different, but like, we're going to still be different.
Kirtan, crazy man. yeah, Kirtan. हाँ जी भाई सर जी कार नहीं चेंज हो सकते पर जेरी चीज है बाणी विच अमृत रस जरा रस नहीं चेंज होना to get to अमृत रस वो टेक्निक कोई है only one वो मन ਨੂੰ subdue करके मन चित्त बुद्धि go back to that same thing जे मन चंचल चित्त कठोर बुद्धि कपटा then रस नहीं मिलना जो मर्जी चेंज हो जाए you can have a mobile charging phones and all sorts of things you could do all that externally अंदरों it's never going to change Ras will only come through one way that's through Guru Shabd no? How would you accept hukum this is just a question now because the world's changing you know we have children you have a young or you might have a young brother a young sister how would you accept the hukum if they became more worldly than Sikh because I've seen particular really good Singhs Singhniya you know when your family gets a problem that affects you really bad and it's very sokha for us to sit here and say pana manana chahida hai that's a sokhi gal asliyat vich andar spirit hove thodi jaye na then you can say that je Sikhi spirit hove the whole point of this camp is andar you have a spirit that you don't have any expectation that this dunya is going to serve you dunya ne thodi koi seva nahi karni dunya ne Asliyat which, and I've seen the worst. I mean, Manveer Pai Sahib would have seen other things as well. You know, ਜਦੋਂ ਤੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਚੰਗਾ ਸਿੱਖ ਹੋਵੇ ਮਾੜਾ ਕੁਝ ਕਰ ਲਵੇ ਉਹ you get buried 95 foot under. You know, you forget about 2 foot. Or they'd never come out again ever. So, when something slightly goes off, are we really that good Sikh that hukum ਅਸੀਂ ਮੰਨ ਸਕਦੇ? And how does seva change? How does our seva change? Is our seva all now? I don't know here, you know Sunday Divan. ਅਸੀਂ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਬਣਾਤਾ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ Christian Sunday worship ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਫਰਕ ਕੀ ਆ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਚ ਬੰਦਾ I don't understand see much ਫਰਕ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਬਣਾਤਾ ਇਸ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ goes to the Gurdwara on Sundays goes for a couple of hours has a free meal and he comes back home what a great life that is but you look Sikhi's got to change now Sikhi, you got sixth kakar in your hat now. People have more respect for their phone than they have for their kakars, right? Shema kakar banata ho. And that thing's in people's hands. They are giving it more respect and everything's going on there. And we all know from a telephone point of view, telephone kiri cheez kiti hai, you got rid of a watch, you got rid of a calculator, you got rid of a diary. All these things that people used to have in their pockets before, right? Yeah, they got rid of a diary. You got rid of your contacts book. You got rid of your camera. You got all these things, and then they're just slowly getting more and more and more and more things in it, Us cheez de naal, how are you going to change that person so oh putte paase na lage bacha? You have to change it now, because wo cheezain ta sari putte paase laun waliyan. And what do you see as the biggest challenge for the Sikhs? What do you see as your challenge? What's the biggest challenge? What's the biggest challenge? ਹੁਣ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਦੇਖ ਲਈ ਹੈ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਤਾਂ ਚੇਂਜ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ very fast challenge ਕੀ ਆ challenge one of the challenges is ਮੈਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਸਕਦਾ I'm not doing yours ਰਸਤਾ ਹੁਣ ਨਹੀਂ ਮਿਲਿਆ ਉਹ when it's changing ਉਹ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਮਿਲਣਾ ਸੰਗਤ ਅਸਲੀਅਤ ਵਿੱਚ now the biggest problem in well not the biggest problem one of the problems in ਨੌਜਵਾਨ now is ਨੌਜਵਾਨ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜਾ ਨੌਜਵਾਨ ਦੇਖੇ ਉਹ ਰਾਜੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ We don't look at Gursikh, but Guru Sahib in Bani says, Gursikha andar Satgur vart hai, jo Sikha nu loche, so Gur khushi aave. Jo Sikha nu lochda hove. If you say, main Gursikh nu milna, Gursikh na main sangat karni hai, Guru nu khushi aandi, Guru Sahib nu khushi aa rahi hai from that. Amma mein read shabd, bhai jo saas, giras te aave mera har, so Gursikh Guru man bhav hai. Guru gets खुश जे तुसी सास ग्रास स्वासा नाल तुसी कोशिश करदे हैं, you try your best. Guru gets खुश from that. And all of those things, slowly, ਅਸੀਂ ਹੁਣ we don't even do darshan of a Sikh now. ਹੁਣ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਡਾ WhatsApp ਤੇ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਸਾਰਾ. It just happens like that. What darshan is that? ठीक है, you have some form of communication. पहला सीगा Guru Nanak Dev Ji. What did Guru Nanak, Bhai Gurdas Ji, what did he say Guru Sahib changed? What did he make? He said he changed society as Gursikhs. He said when a Gursikh meets another Gursikh, a peri penba goes for the pair first. Go to the pair. And now, how are you going to go to the pair with the Facebook? What pair? You're going to take a picture of your pair and stick it there. Say, these are my pair. Now you show me your pair. Oh, Mark, what are you going to, that cheese. ਜਿਹੜੀ ਫਿਜ਼ੀਕਲ ਚੀਜ਼ ਆ ਫਿਜ਼ੀਕਲ ਚੀਜ਼ ਉਹ ਚੇਂਜ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੀ ਫਿਜ਼ੀਕਲੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਿੱਖ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਦੇ ਆ ਟੈਲੀਫੋਨ ਤੇ ਵੀ ਠੀਕ ਆ ਯੂ ਮਾਈ ਹੈਵ ਅ ਗੱਲ ਪਰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਉਹ ਲਾਸਟ ਥਿੰਗ ਆਈ ਫੋਰਗੋਟ ਦਿਸ ਪੁਆਇੰਟ ਨਾ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੈਡਫੋਨ ਲਾਉਂਦੇ ਆ ਹੈਡਫੋਨਸ when you know have you ever been to Samagam and listened to the kirtan and then listen to a recording afterwards ठीक है it reminds you a bit of the Samagam it's not the same is it who thinks that it's the same yeah you heard the kirtan there like nowadays it comes on Sikh channel. They say, oh, Mr. Rez, I watched it on TV anyway. I saw it on TV anyway, it's live broadcast. It's not the same thing. You know, when you listen to something on headphones, you know when you speak or say something or you do bhakti and you do kirtan or you do simran, oh cheez that vibration, that air vibration change ho janda hai. When I'm talking in here like this, that vibration ain't the same as my vibration. That's just amplification. ਜਿਹੜਾ ਆਪਣਾ vibration ਹੈ ਉਹ ਚਾਰ ਬਾਣੀਆਂ ਤੋਂ ਆ it's from 4 ਬਾਣੀਆਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਪਰਾ ਪਸੰਤੀ ਮੱਧਮ ਬੈਖਰੀ ਹੈ ਨਾ that when that comes what different ਚੀਜ਼ ਆ that's got a change it's got ability to change it's good to listen to headphones you know but ਉਹ ਕਦੇ ਇਹਦਾ ਨਾ ਸੋਚੇ ਪਏ ਹੁਣ ਮੈਂ ਰੈਂਸ ਵਾਈ ਮਿਸ ਕਰ ਲਿਆ ਉਹ ਮੈਂ ਕੀਰਤਨ ਮਿਸ ਕਰ ਲਿਆ ਉਹ it doesn't matter ਇਹਦਾ ਮੈਂ ਸੁਣ ਲਿਆ what's the difference between what I did and you did no ਬਹੁਤ ਫਰਕ ਆ it's not comparable ਚੀਜ਼ ਪਰ ਫਿਰ ਵੀ ਆਪਣਾ ਇੱਕ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀ in England ਉਹ is passed away now ਉਹ ਸਿੱਖ very you know used to do sorry how much time have I got we're finished 5 minutes he used to do similar na you know ਉਹਦੀ ਸਾਰ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਮਾਲਾ ਸੀ ਨਾ he had a box of them and the mala was you know moti the beads on them they were dented he did that wore the mala he used to have to change his mala to bhakti judo what Singh said he told Gursikh he goes what he does you know kirtan he could put it in his ears and listen to it for 5 minutes and he should take it out and he should carry on didn't need to listen to it it should go by itself that ਇਹ ਨਿਸ਼ਾਨੀ ਆ ਪਵਿੱਤਰ ਮਨ ਉਹ ਪਵਿੱਤਰ ਮਨ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ when you go to kirtan or you go to simran ਜੇ ਕਦੇ while you're sitting around you hear it on its own then your mind's gone ਪਵਿੱਤਰ it's gone ਪਵਿੱਤਰ then ਉਹ ਕਿਸੇ some ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ ਨੂੰ ਛੇਤੀ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ ਮੇਰੇ ਕਠੋਰ ਮਨ ਹੋਵੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਵਰਗਾ then it doesn't but if you can hear it after when it's not there oh beautiful cheez hai so that Gursikh said so I'm not condemning it because I'm saying you can't when you listen to it you can't make it happen by itself as well no oh to man di gall but just don't treat it as the same thing when someone doing kirtan is sitting in front of you doing simran sitting in front of you oh bahut different cheez hai ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ even atmosphere ਵਿੱਚ change ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਆਮ Sikh like me doesn't see that but other Gursikh can see it no so ਸੰਗਤ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਇਹ ਚੇਂਜ ਹੋਣੀ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਤੇ ਚੇਂਜ ਹੋਈ ਜਾਣਾ ਭਗਤਾਂ ਤੇ ਸਾਰੀਆ ਜੋੜ ਕਦੇ ਨਾ ਆਇਆ ਨਾ ਕਦੇ ਆਣਾ ਨਾ ਕਦੇ ਆਇਆ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਸੋ ਸੰਸਾਰੀ ਲੋਕ ਸਾਡੇ ਇਨਾ whole life ਇਨਾ ਭਗਤੀ ਇਨਾ ਸੋਚਣੀ Sikh should be ultimate ਚੀਜ਼ and I mentioned it yesterday Bhai Gurdas Ji ਕਹਿ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੁਣ even in the lecture yesterday ਵੀ ਇੱਕ ਸਿੱਖ ਦੋ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗ ਪੰਚੀ ਪਰਮੇਸ਼ਰ ਪੰਜਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਰਮੇਸ਼ਰ ਆ ਉਹ Bhai Gurdas Ji ਨੇ he did another kavit savaiya on that same topic and ਉਸ ਸਵਈਏ ਵਿੱਚ Bhai Gurdas Ji talks about ਵੀ ਜੇ ਤਿੰਨ ingredient ਲੈ ਲਓ ਹਨਾ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ with 3 ingredients you can make a myriad of ਮਠਿਆਈਆਂ But Bhai Gurdas says, do ਹੋਰ add kar do, make 5. He goes, then the permutations go more, you can make loads more. He goes, 3 rang le lo. You make 3, take 3 rang and make, he goes, when you mix them up, put a little bit less of one, more of another. He goes, the colours, you can make loads different colours, bahut rang ban jande. He goes, add 2 more into it. He goes, fir the spectrum ban janda. Now, Bhai Gurdas says, he goes, 2 sikh hon, 3 sikh hon. He goes, bahut, he goes, inniyan cheezaं hon lag bandiyan, he goes, pata nahi lagda. He goes, add 2 more, he goes, forget about it. But he's make it 20, he goes, fir the shaddo pare. He goes, byan nahi ho sakda, what 20 can do. It is 100 here. It's 100 sikh na. And I want to go back to that cheese again about chit. ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਿਹਦੇ when you sitting in the ਦੀਵਾਨ hall ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਜੋ ਦੀਵਾਨ hall 'ਚ ਬੈਠੇ ਆ ਉੱਥੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਹੋਰ ਚੀਜ਼ ਦਾ ਸੋਚਿਓ ਨਾ. Don't think what's my mum and dad doing, ਘਰ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਮੈਂ chips ਖਾਣੇ ਆ, missing my chocolate. ਉੱਥੇ ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਨਾ ਸੋਚਿਓ. I'm going to walk outside of the divan hall and ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਮੈਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨੀ ਆ. Or did you see that guy nearly tripped over the mat? Yeah, it's funny. That ਕੀਰਤਨ ਉਹ ਬਿਸੋਰਾਜਿਆ ਕੀਰਤਨ ਕਰਦਾ ਸੀ ਸੀ funny it was, yeah, blah. ਇਦਾਂ ਦੀ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਨਾ ਉਹ ਮਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਾ ਲਿਆਓ ਉੱਥੇ. And second thing is just you know when you listen to something or and that telephone thing, telephone ਉਹ ਚੱਕ ਕੇ ਬਾਹਰ ਮਾਰੋ. You know throw it in the bin. And the third thing is, if someone's not from your jathebandi, don't look at them like you're maar dena nu. It doesn't matter that much. It don't matter that much, It really doesn't. Uthe jithe sikh baithe hona na, uthe vair virodh nahi hona chahida. Minimal bhi nahi hona chahida. Minimal, not even little bit. Uthe hone chahide sare sikh gursikh bhai a. That everyone's beautiful. A guru da jida mainu alag Bhai Gurdas ji wara mere liye oh santa. If I want to make a santa, Bhai Gurdas, you know. But jide main cheez eh Bhai Gurdas says jide lele majnu aashiki wali gal. He says jado majnu so kutta khama of lele's house, ek kutte nu jaffi pale si ਉਹਨੇ. He says jaffi pale. He says you've been to the car, jis car vich jide vich the person I love more than anything in the dunya. ਤੇ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ ਲਈ ਸੇਮ ਚੀਜ਼ ਆ. ਤੇ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਬਖਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੋਆ. ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਲੱਭਣਾ ਸੀ he's in ਬਖਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਦਾ ਫਿਰ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਜੱਫੀ ਪਾਣੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਆ ਨਾ. It's the same thing. ਸੀ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਪਿਆਰ ਸੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਲੇਲੇ ਨਾਲ ਪੀਰ ਮੁਰੀਦਾ ਪਿਰਹਰੀ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ with his ਗੁਰੂ ਪਿਆਰ ਉਹ ਕੋਈ ਦੁਨਿਆਵੀ ਕੋਈ there's no example ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ. ਭਾਈ ਗੁਰਦਾਸ ਜੀ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ that if you love Gursikh, you love Sikhi that much, you can't say, oh, I like that Sikh and not that one that much. That's what a nonsensical ਗੱਲ ਆ ਨਾ. ਤੇ ਬੋਲਦੇ ਆ must have made ਬਹੁਤ ਗਲਤੀਆਂ ਹੋ ਗਈਆਂ ਹੋਣੀਆਂ. ਅਣਜਾਣ ਬੱਚਾ ਸਮਝ ਕੇ ਮਾਫ ਕਰ ਦੇਣਾ ਜੀ. ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ